Hi, and welcome to another Silly Stories with Matt Farkas. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the homeless. So, normally, when you run into a homeless person, they go like, "Hey, can I have some change or cash, or can you give me some food?" And normally, I don't have any cash, so I'm like, "Hey, I only have card," because that's a great way out of it. But one day, I feel like a homeless guy is going to be like, "Oh, I take that too, here," and I'm going to have to be like, "Back up." But in this case, specifically, I was on my way to the store and I saw a homeless guy and he had a sign that said, "Hungry, God bless." So I'm walking around the store and I'm thinking to myself, hey, maybe it'd be cool if I just got this guy like $2 burgers or some food or something, and that'd be nice. So I bought him $2 burgers. I gave him the burgers and he just looked at me and took them. And I was like, awesome. Well, that was my good deed for the day. So at the end of everything, I crossed the street and I turn around because I had to shop at the other store on the other side of the street, and I look, and there he is, throwing the burgers into traffic at cars. So I can't give him food anymore. He ruined it. But the other thing that I used to be able to give to the homeless people were cigarettes. Because it'd be like, do you have any money? Or do you have any food? And I'd be like, I don't have either of those things. I don't have anything to sustain you. But I do have cigarettes. Like, if you want, I can kill you faster. But I can't do that anymore either. And this is why. One time, I was outside of a very famous news center in Atlanta, and I was smoking a cigarette, observing the fact that all the trees were tied down, and I had no idea why all these trees were tied down. But this dude walked up to me, and he was homeless, and he was like, "Hey, let me get a cigarette." And I was like, "Well, that's really direct, sure." So I gave him a cigarette, and I was standing there, and I was like, "Do you know why the trees are tied down?" And he went, "I ain't no f***ing tree expert." And I was like, "That's fair." But these other two homeless dudes came fluttering up. They were like something out of a old English tale where they were like Mary Poppins-ish homeless people. To my memory, the one guy actually had a top hat on. They came up, and the one looked to the man I just given the cigarette and said, "Excuse me, if you're finished with your cigarette, might I have a tap?" And the man looked at the other homeless dude and looked at me, and then he flicked the cigarette directly in his face, and it exploded, and it caused that homeless dude to cry. And the other homeless dude looked at me and pointed and just shouted, "You did this! You were both monsters!" Now I can't even give him cigarettes. That's my relationship with the homeless. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this silly story with Matt Farkas.